Welcome, 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 welcome. Hi, I'm Vernon Shelton, and here's another episode of Brothers of Truth, and I'm with my brother.
It's the Rev, Anthony Mason Sr.
In today's episode, we're going to be getting into toxic food. The food you eat ain't always healthy you putting in your body. And there's people's out there right now that's watching and listening and paying attention and thinking like, oh, well, whatever I eat is cool. Then you wondering why you got the flu and the pneumonia. Then you don't know what's going on with your body by it shutting down. Your body is shutting down because you putting garbage in your body, poison in your body, plastic in your body, fake things that they turn around and making up that you don't even know that they really making up. Like when little kids play with Play-Doh toys and stuff, basically that's what you're putting in your body. What do you think, my brother?
That's right. Well, part of my ministry is healthy living. And in healthy living, I got a 3-part curriculum, which consists of mind elevation, wise counsel, and what you eat is the third one. What you eat is very important. As a matter of fact, there's a scripture in the Bible that says, you are what you eat. You see what I'm saying? And it also says, whoever doesn't be mindful of what they eat, their stomach becomes their God. You see, and we definitely don't want our stomach to be our God, because we'll be subject to eat anything, and that's pretty much what's been going on in the world today. People get hunger pains and they get anything. A lot of this is accredited to economics and the way society is shaped, because a lot of people aren't making enough money, to afford good quality food. Therefore, instead of finding a way to improvise or being cognitive in their thinking, they just surrender to whatever's cheap out there. Hence, this is why a place like McDonald's is able to sell 11 billion burgers a day. You see what I'm saying? With the food, we got to understand, it's bigger than just, livestock and produce, and, it's bigger than just that. You got to think about the governmental aspect as well behind the scene. You got to think about how the FDA grades the meat you eat. You don't have to necessarily be eating 100% pure ground round. Just because the label says 100%, it could be 35% with the additives and preservatives. And because that's the way the chemists pass it through, they put 100% seal on it. You see what I'm saying? Some food is passed down. It's recycled food. When the bigger grocery market chains is getting rid of their inventory to bring in fresh food, it gets passed down to a subsidiary or a secondary market chain. It gets recolorized, re-wrapped, and you think it's fresh. You see what I'm saying? And actually, the food has been around for over a month, and it should have been disposed of. This can go on, and I can ramble a long time with this because this is something I teach.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? With healthy living, you take, for example, your organic foods, or your gluten-free foods. Okay, first of all, a lot of people out there is not even going to understand what that means. You know what I mean? I'm hungry, give me something to eat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But how long are you going to subject yourself to, not being wise about what you eat? You see, sometimes we're in a situation where our money can't afford certain things.
That's true.
But we can eat in moderation. We can limit the things that we eat, and there's ways that our digestive system and our bodily functions can regulate that through the system. But, mostly anything with wheat in it has gluten in it. Anything that's processed has gluten in it. You see, you can go to the store and buy something organic, and it'll be $10 more than what you normally buy, and you'd be like, I ain't paying for that.
That's true. That's true. That's true. I honestly think some of them make excuses about it. Some of them make excuses about it because they wondering why their kid is obese and big, and they wonder why they the same way, and they think McDonald's is the place for them, but it's really not, because that's the main poison for them. So they feeling like, well, McDonald's is cheap, let me go there. But some of them have money to get healthy stuff. They chose not to do it because they feel like it's up there. What it is expensive, but at the end of the day, do you want to live?
And that's a good question. And that's a good point you bring out, because like with most of your fast food is highly saturated with sugar. And see, one of the biggest death sentences to mankind today is diabetes. You know, and it's how much sugar you take in. I mean, obesity is caused from sugar. We could talk about pre-hypertension and all that, but just dealing with this obesity thing for a second. See, the body, it has to your kidneys has to produce insulin in order to break sugar down. Okay, now when the sugar content is too high, it makes the kidneys work extra hard. When the kidneys have to work extra hard, the kidneys become weak. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So what ends up happening is, to support the kidney, you end up having to inject yourself with insulin shots.
Wow.
You see?
Wow.
And this is why people carry those needles. They got those blood gauges so they can see what their sugar level is. You see what I'm saying? And if we understand this, if we learn these things, we can do things that we can eat in moderation instead of just being greedy or glutton for everything that we see that's affordable. You know, the body can only take but so much. The same thing with high sodium foods, with the salt. I don't even buy salt. You see what I'm saying? Because here's the thing, salt is not a natural form of sodium. It's a enemy to the body. Because our body produces its own metabolics. We make our own salt. You see what I'm saying? You can taste it in your sweat. You see what I'm saying? So when you put that in the body, the first thing to do, the body does, it creates a defense and tries to break that salt crystal down. Now, how many salt crystals are in you? That's the question. So when, you know what I mean? So when it's trying to break it down, it creates a pocket of fat around the salt. And the gastric juices and the acid in your stomach tries to eat away at the salt. Because the salt is not pure, it takes a long time for that to happen, so that fat sits dormant, and what happens? You end up getting cellulite. So you get all these fat spots all over your stomach and your body, and you wondering, how do I get rid of this? Where does this come from?
And you know what else it is, Pastor? I'm gonna keep it 100 too, and this just being straight up real. People's being lazy.
Oh my goodness.
That's just being real. Being lazy, don't want to work out, want to eat what you want to eat, wonder why your high blood pressure is high, wonder why you having strokes, wonder why you having heart attacks, wonder why everything, your whole body is falling apart. Because the thing about it, it's not about you being stressed, it's about what you eating.
Exactly. And you know what?
That is crazy. You know, oh, I'm stressed out. That's why this happening. No, you stressed out because you don't want to work out and you eating bad food.
And you know what else? To piggyback on what you just said, what you eat can make you lazy.
See? That's true. That's true. And
it's the chemical imbalance in the food.
Exactly.
It will make you lazy.
It's a mind thing. It's a mind thing, because at the end of the day, they could sit there and look at us and say, oh yeah, y'all want to eat healthy. That's on y'all. Y'all think y'all better. Nobody don't think nobody better than nobody. At the end of the day, do you want to live or do you want to die?
That's right.
That's what you got to ask yourself.
That's right.
Only thing we doing, we just being brothers of truth and putting out the truth. That's all
right.
we can do.
That's right. You
know?
got to look at, like, for example, you take your alcohol, for example. Now I'm not knocking nobody that drinks.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, you need to know these things so you can do things in moderation. Mm-hmm. Beer is full of sugar. You see? Beer is made from oats and barley.
Yep.
And it takes a lot of sugar to ferment it and create beer.
Yep. The breweries.
Yep. You see what I'm saying? Your liquor ain't nothing but sugar.
Yep.
It's sugar in a bottle. They use the sugar to ferment it. You see what I'm saying? So if you're eating unhealthy and staying inebriated all the time, then the body cannot handle that. I mean, even a machine needs to be oiled and reprogrammed. We're God's greatest creation. Human beings is God's greatest creation to this world. And we got to realize that we're not built to just abuse ourselves. I like to use this for an example because I was young once and I used to live on the wild side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, me too.
Drink like a fish, smoke like a chimney. You see what I'm saying? Cuss like a sailor.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And do every ungodly thing under the sun that you can think of. But Paul says, when I was a boy, I thought and acted like a boy. But when I became a man, I put away all childish things. Ooh. So eventually, when you grow up, you got to say, I can't eat like this no more. Yeah. I got to be around for the people I'm leaving behind because I got to establish a legacy for them. I told my dad, one day, I said, if I would have known what I know now back then, I'd have been all right.
See?
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And this is why I don't keep this wisdom away from my kids. You see what I'm saying?
Preach it to them.
I give it to them. It's their job to accept it and implement it in their lives. But look, these people behind the Food Administration and the FDA and all these other organizations who mass produce food, they got one thing on their mind.
Wow.
Money.
That's it. Money is power and evilness.
Money. If you gonna keep eating it, they gonna keep taking your money. They don't care. If you look at the news here lately, I'm sure everybody in here has seen this. If you look at the news lately, people are dying. And now they're starting to smell their own.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So they pulling stuff off the shelves. Dairy is being recalled. They didn't pour eggs off the shelf. They didn't pour yogurt off the shelf. They didn't pour lettuce off the shelf. They didn't pour ground beef off the shelf. They just said they just found over 2 million, I think it was, pounds of ground beef that had E. coli in it.
Ooh.
Over 200, over 2 million pounds? You can look this stuff up.
That's deep.
This is news. How many bodies of people is 2 million pounds? The average person is about what, 170, 180?
About 180. Yep. Close. Yep. That's crazy. That's crazy, man.
How many people was that? We could fill up stadiums with that meat.
Woo.
So how many states did that meat make it to and get sold to?
All over. All over.
But you know what happened at the end of the day?
Money.
They got paid. Somebody in your family died, but they got paid. So this is a good topic, V, you brought to the table
nice.
this evening because this is what I try to drive home. And you know what? You get such a rejection with this. And like I said, I don't try to tell nobody what to eat. That's not my job. I'm a man that go by biblical principles, and the scripture says, let them be persuaded in their own minds.
They gotta learn.
They gotta learn for themselves. But here's my thing. If I could say one thing just to spark the light inside you and wake you up, I'm gonna at least do that, because only a fool keeps wisdom to himself.
On the toxic food, we will be continuing this. And I'm Vernon Shelton, and I'm with my brother,
The Rev, Anthony Mason Sr. Stay tuned.